In the heart of London, a symphony of muffled drills and hushed murmurs echoed from a pristine dental clinic. The clinic, nestled among towering skyscrapers, had a facade of gleaming glass windows reflecting the cloudy sky. The nameplate read, Dr. Elias Warren, DDS, World's Best Dentist. Inside, the decor was a harmonious blend of modern and traditional. Polished wooden floors met stark white walls adorned with awards, certifications, and photographs of Dr. Warren with various dignitaries. Even though the clinic was always bustling with patients, there was a certain serenity that visitors felt upon entering. At the center of it all was Dr. Elias Warren. Tall, with a mane of salt and pepper hair, and wearing a crisp white coat, his presence commanded respect. His deep blue eyes, however, betrayed a kindness that put everyone at ease. Every movement he made was precise, a dance between expertise and artistry. Each day at his clinic was a testament to his unparalleled skills and compassion. He treated every patient, from children to the elderly, with the same meticulous attention. Some patients entered the clinic terrified, their past experiences with dentistry tainted by pain or negligence. But under Dr. Warren's care, they left with smiles brighter and more confident than they could have ever imagined. Elias had a way of making dental procedures seem like a breeze. A child with cavities would sit on the chair, expecting the worst, only to find themselves laughing at Dr. Warren's tales of far-off lands and whimsical creatures. By the time the story ended, the procedure would be over, leaving the child in awe and wonder. To them, Elias was not just a dentist, he was a magician. For the elderly, Dr. Warren was a beacon of patience. He'd spend hours ensuring their comfort, listening to their stories, and giving them a reason to smile again. With him, dentures were not just dental fixtures, they were a new lease on life. Rumors about Dr. Warren's expertise had traveled far and wide. He had patients flying in from different parts of the world, hoping to experience the magic of his touch. He had revolutionized various dental procedures, making them painless and efficient. Yet, despite the fame and adoration, Elias remained grounded. For him, dentistry was not about accolades, it was about transforming lives one smile at a time. Outside the confines of his clinic, Elias led a quiet life. He resided in a stone-clad mansion on the outskirts of London. The house, surrounded by lush gardens and serene water bodies, was his sanctuary. Every evening, after a long day at the clinic, Elias would retreat to his home. The first thing he'd do was feed the swans that glided gracefully on the pond near his house. He had named them all, and they seemed to recognize him, swimming towards him the moment he stepped out. Once the swans were attended to, Elias would head to his study, a room filled with books that spanned various genres and eras. But most prominent were the books on dentistry. For Elias, learning never stopped. He'd spend hours poring over the latest research, constantly updating his techniques, and ensuring he provided the best care possible. Dinner was a simple affair, usually prepared by Mrs. Pennington, the housekeeper who had been with him for decades. She'd often share anecdotes from her day, and Elias would listen intently, laughing at her quirks and stories. Their bond was deep, transcending the usual employer-employee relationship. To many, it seemed like they were family. The evenings usually culminated with Elias playing the grand piano that took pride of place in his living room. The melodies he played were soulful, reflecting his moods in the day's events. Sometimes, it was a cheerful tune, reflecting the joy of a successful procedure. Other times, it was a melancholic melody, echoing the challenges of a particularly tough day. As the notes wafted through the mansion, the world seemed to pause, allowing Dr. Elias Warren a few moments of solace. The weight of being the world's best dentist, of carrying the hopes and fears of countless patients, momentarily lifted, allowing him to just be, a man with dreams, passions, and an undying love for his craft. And as the night deepened, Elias would retire to his room, the melody still echoing in his heart, ready to face another day of challenges, triumphs, and smiles. As dawn broke, the city of London came alive with its usual vibrancy. But for Dr. Elias Warren, this day was different. He had received a letter the previous evening, an invitation from the International Dental Association to present his innovative techniques at a conference in Paris. It was an honor, of course, but it brought with it a whirlwind of emotions. For Elias, Paris was not just another city, it was where he had spent his formative years. It was where he had studied dentistry, where he had faced failures and triumphs, and most poignantly, it was where he had lost his wife, Clara, in a tragic accident. Returning to Paris meant reopening a chapter of his life he had carefully sealed away. The morning at the clinic was busier than usual. Yet, amid the flurry of appointments and procedures, the invitation weighed on his mind. He found himself lost in memories, the cobblestone streets of Paris, the aroma of fresh croissants, the sound of Clara's laughter echoing in the corridors of their Parisian apartment. His reverie was broken by a gentle tap on his shoulder. It was his assistant, Lydia. "Dr. Warren," she began, hesitatingly, "I couldn't help but notice the letter from Paris. Are you considering it?" Elias sighed, looking out of the window. "Paris holds many memories, Lydia. Memories that I've tried to move past." Lydia, having been with Elias for several years, knew about Clara. She gently responded, "Maybe this is a chance for closure, a way to honor Clara's memory by showcasing your work in the city you both loved." The day wore on, but Lydia's words lingered in Elias's mind. By evening, as he played a haunting melody on his grand piano, he had made up his mind. He would go to Paris. The days leading up to the conference were a blur. Preparations, rehearsals, and the usual bustle of the clinic kept Elias occupied. Mrs. Pennington, sensing his anxiety, went out of her way to ensure everything at home was perfect. She even dug out an old photograph of Elias and Clara and placed it on his study table, a silent show of support. The day of departure arrived. As Elias's car navigated the streets of London, heading to the airport, he felt a myriad of emotions: excitement, anxiety, nostalgia. The journey to Paris was short, but for Elias, it felt like traveling back in time. The city welcomed him with open arms. The familiar sights and sounds brought a rush of memories. The Seine River shimmered under the sunlight, and the Eiffel Tower stood tall, a testament to time and beauty. Elias checked into a quaint hotel, a stone's throw away from where he used to live. That evening, he took a walk. The streets, lined with cafes and boutiques, buzzed with activity. But Elias's steps were drawn to a particular path, the one leading to his old apartment. Standing outside, he could almost picture a younger him and Clara, their dreams and hopes filling the Parisian air. The pain was sharp, but there was also a sense of peace, a realization that memories, no matter how painful, are a testament to moments that once held profound meaning. The conference day dawned bright and early. The auditorium was packed, with dental professionals from all over the world. Elias's presentation was met with awe and admiration. His innovative techniques, combined with his genuine passion for dentistry, left an indelible mark on the audience. Post the presentation, Elias was inundated with accolades and offers for collaborations. But amidst the crowd, an old face approached him. Professor Dufresne, Elias's mentor from his college days, now with streaks of gray in his hair and lines of age on his face, greeted him with a warm hug. "It's good to see you, Elias," he said, his voice quivering with emotion. "You've made us all so proud. Clara would have been so happy." The mention of Clara brought tears to Elias's eyes. But they were tears of gratitude. Gratitude for the journey, for the memories, and for the city that had given him so much. The trip to Paris, initially filled with trepidation, turned out to be a cathartic experience for Elias. He not only showcased his expertise on an international platform but also reconciled with a part of his past that he had long buried. As Elias boarded the plane back to London, he looked out of the window, the city lights of Paris twinkling below. He whispered a silent thank you, to Paris, to Clara, and to the journey that made him the world's best dentist. Back in London, life resumed its rhythm for Dr. Elias Warren. The trip to Paris had revitalized him, adding a new depth to his persona. The clinic felt different, almost as if the walls echoed with the experiences he had lived and the memories he had revisited. Elias found himself cherishing the little moments more. Whether it was sharing a light moment with a patient, the quiet moments of introspection in his study, or the evenings spent playing the piano, he seemed to be savoring every second, every emotion. The world outside, however, was abuzz with his success from the Paris conference. Articles about his revolutionary dental techniques and his inspiring journey filled newspapers and magazines. Yet, amidst this flurry of fame, Elias remained grounded, his priorities unchanged. One evening, after a particularly long day at the clinic, Elias found a young woman waiting for him in the reception. She looked familiar, her brown eyes echoing a past he remembered all too well. "Dr. Warren," she began, her voice quivering, "I'm Lila, Clara's niece." Elias was taken aback. He remembered a young Lila, a bubbly child who used to run around their Parisian apartment, her laughter filling the rooms. The woman standing before him now was a reflection of that child, but with a maturity that life and time bestow. Lila continued, "I heard about your presentation in Paris. I'm now a dental student myself, inspired by you and Aunt Clara. I've come to London for a few months for a special course, and I was hoping if I could learn from you. Elias, overwhelmed with emotion, nodded. Of course, Lila. Clara would have wanted that. The following weeks were transformative for both Elias and Lila. As he taught her, Elias not only imparted his dental expertise but also shared stories of Clara, of their dreams, their struggles, and their undying passion for the craft. Lila, in return, brought a fresh perspective, challenging Elias with new techniques and ideas. The clinic became a hub of learning and shared memories. One evening, as they were winding up, Lila presented Elias with a sketch. It was a beautiful rendition of Elias and Clara, their younger selves, in their Parisian home, lost in each other's eyes. The details, the emotions, everything was perfect. "I remember Aunt Clara sketching this," Lila whispered. "She never got to finish it. I found it among her belongings and thought of completing it for you." Elias, holding back tears, replied, "This is more than a sketch, Lila. It's a piece of the past, a memory preserved forever." The months flew by, and soon it was time for Lila to return to Paris. As they bid farewell, Elias realized that life had come full circle. The void that Clara's departure had left was now filled with memories, lessons, and bonds that transcended time. Years passed. Dr. Elias Warren's legend grew. His clinic continued to thrive, but more importantly, it became a place of stories, of shared experiences, and of dreams realized. And as the sun set on a winter evening, an elderly Elias sat by his fireplace, the sketch of him and Clara beside him. The fire's warmth, the notes from his piano, and the legacy he had built were a testament to a life lived with passion, love, and an unwavering dedication to his craft. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more stories. Until next time, take care and keep watching.